Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to meet you. My name is Eunhwa Lee. I'm a professor at Silla University in Busan, South Korea. Today, I brought a very interesting topic. It's about flexible academic systems. Why is this important? Because many Korean universities are thinking about change right now. I did this research with Professor Ha Shin from Semyeong University in Korea. We wanted to hear real voices from universities members. Let me explain our theoretical framework simply. What is a flexible academic system? Imagine this. Students can choose courses that fit their situation. They can earn credits more freely. They can create schedule that work for them. They can learn online or offline. This is flexibility. But here's an important question. What do the people who actually use these systems think? So we used stakeholder theory. Students, faculty, and staffs are all important stakeholders. Their voices shape policy. Our literature review revealed interesting findings. Flexibility has four dimensions. First, course registration systems. Second, credit transfer mechanisms. Third, technology infrastructure. Fourth, administrative support. All four must work together for true flexibility. Let's look at Korea. The government is giving universities more autonomy. This is a good sign, but here comes the problem. Universities are trying new programs, but we don't really know how users feel about them. There are good international cases too. Credit transfer systems, online degree programs, and so on. This is actually why our research is needed. We must deeply understand what stakeholders actually perceive. This is the research gap we wanted to fill. Now, let me explain how we did this research. There's a reason why methodology matters. We choose Jeju National University. Why JNU? This university shows a typical regional national university in Korea. And they are actually pursuing educational innovation. Our research design is unique. We didn't just look at numbers. We included two types of questions in our survey. One uses Likert scale for ratings. The other lets people freely write their opinions. Why did we do this? Numbers show overall trend, but people's real thoughts are in their words. Looking at both gives much richer understanding. Who participated? Students, faculty, and members and staffs. They came from various departments. This is important because each group has different perspectives. Let's see what we asked. How flexible is course registrations? Does credit transfer work well? Is technology infrastructure sufficient? How is administrative support? And how well do they know about these systems? Data collection was very systematic. Ensuring representativeness was crucial. If only certain groups participate, research can be biased. Analysis had two stages. First, we compared important and urgency scores. This shows priorities. Then we coded open responses by themes. Here we discovered hidden meanings. Of course, we were ethically prepared. We got research approval. Everyone gave consent, and we thoroughly protected privacy. Now comes the most exciting part. Let's see what we discovered. Some results were unexpected. Others were as we anticipated. Quantitative findings give us a clear message. There are four key discoveries. First, post-registration is credit and credit systems. Was surprising. All groups equally saw this as most important and urgent. It is not just what students want. Faculty want it too. Staff want it too. What does this mean? Everyone feels uncomfortable with the current system. They agree that changes is needed. Second, academic infrastructure, especially technology infrastructure, is problematic. Why is it important? Online education increased after COVID-19, but systems do not properly support this. To create flexible learning environment, technology must support it. Right now, that's lacking. This is a problem that needs urgent solution. Third, administrative support. An interesting pattern emerged here. Effectiveness is mixed. Some parts work well, but some parts are very insufficient. Especially financial and procedural supports are problems. Systems are created but often don't actually work. This is an implementation problem. Fourth, awareness and culture. This might be the most serious problem. Students don't know how options exist. Parents don't either. No matter how good the system is, it's unless if people don't know. We need promotion and education. Changing culture is the hardest but most important. Now, let's listen more deeply to each group's voice. We discovered four themes. They are interconnected. First, technology infrastructure. This is not simply about buying more computers. What do people really want? They want online platforms to work stably. Systems shouldn't crash frequently. IT support is also important. When problems occur, they need quick solutions. Right now, support is insufficient. This is a major source of dissatisfaction. Second, training challenges. This was an unexpected finding. Professors are struggling. Why? Because they need to learn new systems. Steps are the same. Flexible systems are more complex to manage. Capacity building is needed, but training opportunities are insufficient. This is something policymakers easily miss. Third, support gaps. This is the most practical problem. Everything needs money. Without budget, nothing can be done. But it is not just about money. Institutional support is also needed. We need to make policies change regulations, and organize systems. These must go together for sustainability. First, student engagement. This might be the most fundamental problem. Student motivation is weak. Why? Because they lack a sense of belonging. Students' and parents' perceptions must also change. They see university only as a place to get a diploma. They should see it as a space for learning and growth. This cultural change is needed. This group tells a very interesting story. Let's compare the three groups. Blue shows importance. Light blue shows urgency. We can see an important pattern here. Look at the students. Importance is about 4.3, very high. But what about urgency? It's 4.5, even higher. What does this mean? Students want change right now. Faculty are a bit different. Importance is slightly lower than students, about 3.8, but look at urgency, it is 4.1. Urgency is higher than importance. Faculty also feel it needs to change quickly. What about staff? Importance is 4.2 and urgency is 4.3. The pattern is similar. All three groups rate urgency highly. The key message here is clear. Everyone thinks change is important. More importantly, everyone thinks it needs to happen quickly. This is a strong signal to policymakers. We can't delay anymore. Now, let's discuss what these results actually mean. Let's find the real story behind the numbers and voices. Let me make policy recommendations. These are not just suggestions. They are practical measures reflecting voices from the field. First, institutional strategies. Let me use Jeju National University as an example. This university has a 10-year development plan from 2022 to 2031. It is a good plan, but plans alone are not enough. What does our research show? When implementing plans, we must listen to stakeholders. We must know what they really want. Only then can we create effective system. Second, national policy. This might be more important. Why? Because individual university efforts alone have limitations. What should the government do? Give universities real autonomy. How? There are two ways. One is financial support. Change requires money. The government must provide budget. The other is regulatory flexibility. Right now, there are too many regulations. Even when universities want to innovate, regulation blocks them. We need flexible policies. Universities must be able to experiment and try. Third, global relevance. Our research doesn't apply only to Korea because many countries face similar problems. Especially think about other Asian countries. Japan, Taiwan, Thailand have similar concerns. School-age population is declining. Universities must change. Our experience and findings can help them. Of course, our study has limitations. Let me be honest, the sample is limited to one university. We can say it represents all universities in Korea. Measurement method also have room for improvement. That's why follow-up research is needed. What kind? First, longitudinal studies are needed. We should see how it changes over time. Right now, we looked at only one time point. We need to track the process of change. Second, we should research at various universities. What about University in Seoul? Regional private universities? Junior colleges? Each will have different situations. Comparative research is needed. Now let me state our key conclusion. This is the most important message. Stakeholder engagement is essential. This is not optional. It's mandatory. Why? Flexible academic systems cannot be imposed top-down. They work when people agree and participate. Students must participate. Faculty must participate. Staff must also participate. For Korean higher education reform to succeed, we must remember this. We must listen to everyone's voice. Everyone must create it together. This is the most important message our research conveys. Let me conclude. What did I show you today? Not just research. This is a real voice from the field. Flexible academic systems are not simple institutional changes. This is fundamental change in university culture. People's thinking must change. Organizational ways must change. This is not easy, but it is necessary, and it is possible. What our research shows is that people want change. They are ready. What we need now is action. Policymakers must move. University leaders must decide. And all stakeholders must cooperate together. Thank you sincerely for listening. I want to hear your questions and options. Let's discuss together. Thank you so much.